One of the major differences between winners and everyone else is the fact that they show up, even when they don't feel like it. And that concept really prompted me to get on here and speak to y'all today, because not feeling like it is not an excuse. Discipline itself starts when motivation ends, but consistency itself is built in the moment when you want to quit, when you may not feel like it, when you may be under the weather, but you still allow yourself to get up and do the things that you know that you need to be doing. This will be the major difference maker in your life if you can program your mind to stay disciplined even during the hard times. It's easy to be consistent when everything's going your way, but when you hit a road bump, when you may experience some form of failure, that's when it's actually going to count, because ultimately it's going to determine whether or not you quit. Waiting for the right mood will kill all the momentum. You'll be stuck in that exact place forever as long as you allow your feelings to dictate your actions. We cannot be emotion based. Feelings change too quick. One moment you can be happy, the next you can be sad. This is not something that should dictate your next move and the things that you decide to do with your life. Keeping in mind that the world does not care how you feel. The world only cares if you deliver or not. If you get done what you need to get done. There's so many different moments during my day where I may have certain urges that I want to act on, but I know the consequences on acting on those urges, and it is not production. It is not productivity. You will not be able to get the work that you need to get done if you're constantly acting out of emotional state. And this is something that I was speaking to my friends about recently, because you always have to keep yourself grounded. Anything can be thrown at you at any given moment, but life does not wait on nobody. If you're willing to sacrifice possible opportunities because you may not feel like it, then you have to be willing to deal with the possible consequences of never getting another chance like that again. That's why I feel like it's very important for us to focus on building good habits, because your emotions are temporary, but your habits are what define you. It's the things that you turn to, even in your toughest moments, because they're routine to you. You've been doing it for so long now, so it's a part of your natural patterns. But if you can train yourself to develop habits that are ultimately going to work in your favor, especially in those difficult moments, then you will have nothing to worry about. If you take a moment to look around, the greatest achievements that you see today were built by people who did things when they may not have felt like it, when their energy may have been off. They may have been tired, uninspired, or even overwhelmed. But feeling these certain things should not stop you from getting your work done. And that's the most important part. You cannot let certain urges knock you off course. There was a point in my life where I had to spend so much time building up resilience because I had to be able to see things through, even in those darkest times. You may wake up sick one day. You may not feel good, but these things cannot hold you back from being great. You have to keep going. And one thing that I've learned about showing up, even on the days when you don't feel like it, is the fact that you still get credit as if you were at your full potential. Simply by showing up, it makes the most difference in your life. And every time that you act despite resistance, you get stronger and stronger and more unstoppable. The more that you go through, the more that you experience, the more that you train yourself to persist through those hard times, it's just gonna get easier and easier for you to do so in any given moment. Today, life can't throw any curveballs at me and I feel completely overwhelmed, like I just have to quit and everything has to stop. No, because I've trained myself, I reprogrammed my mind to be okay with those hard times. After you go through so much, you don't shy away from problems anymore. It's not about running, it's about facing them and what you're going to do to come out on the other side more wiser and more stronger. And this is exactly the point that I want each and every one of y'all to get to. Stop running. Stop going against the way that you feel. It's a temporary feeling, it will pass. Just like you wake up sometimes, you look outside and it's raining, and then 15-20 minutes later, it can be sunny. It's the exact same concept with the way that you feel. Let it go and then move on, but you have to keep pushing. You have to keep the ball rolling and keep the momentum going. Because the moment that you stop, especially based on something that you may have felt in the very moment, you're gonna feel weak. And you may not notice it at first, but all it's doing is just pulling you away from your overall purpose. And the more that you do it, the more comfortable you get in a position of just being stagnant and allowing things to just slip away. At some point, they're going to become out of your reach. And it's really a blessing understanding that you do not need perfect energy. You just need intention. Excuses feel good in the moment, but they leave you with the regret long term. things that you're going to have to process years down the line. And one thing that I learned about energy and even just bad habits in general is these things never stay stagnant. You don't just develop a bad habit and think, okay, now I'm just this specific way. It gets worse and worse and worse over time. The more that you allow yourself to do that habit and get more comfortable being in that type of space. It's like when you're first being exposed to something and you eventually realize that what you learned was just surface level compared to what's really out there. A chain reaction. And this is exactly how it spreads. This form of complacency. This form of not taking care of the things that you need to take care of. But you need to be great. And you don't do it by acting off of feelings, by acting off how you feel this morning, so you're not going to do what you need to do. If I went based on the way that I feel, there's so many things that I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have went to the military. I wouldn't have bought a house. I probably wouldn't have went to school. I probably wouldn't have persisted through each and every last hardship that I had to go through that made me into the person that's able to speak in front of y'all today. So with that being said, you have to get through it. Comfort is not a place that you need to focus on when you're trying to grow. It's going to be unfamiliar, that's okay. But as you grow and you advance, eventually, after you overcome whatever hardship that you need to overcome, you can put yourself back in a safe space where you feel comfortable. The work is already going to be done, so at that point it won't matter. But each and every time that you need to grow, you're going to have to remove yourself and do the things that make you feel uncomfortable. And that's just the way that life is. But the work will not do itself. And I feel like that's one thing that eats so many people up in the long run. It's just so many missed opportunities. The time that they had, the time that they gave up, focusing on things that weren't going to put them in a better position. All to realize that their mind and their attention was just set on the wrong things in that very moment. We cannot live a life of regrets. You got to tell yourself, there's only so much time I can waste before I run out of it. This is not a forever thing. So the more that you're allowing yourself to just allow time to pass by, at some point, you're going to reach a deadline. Things aren't going to be the same for you. So you have to stop procrastinating. What are you truly waiting on? And I just had a talk with my friend about this the other day because he's always been the type to procrastinate the gym, and he recently just got a new job. And it's crazy how God works because God gave him a job that had a gym included in his work environment. And I don't know about y'all, but I've never heard of that. It was like a warehouse and it had a gym added into it. So I say that to say that God really will do his part. The things that you may ask for, your desires, in order to help improve your life and make your life better. If you mean what you say, then he will make it happen for you. Truly ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Because there's some people that would have been in the same situation that I just talked about a minute ago, that it wouldn't matter if the gym was at their work or if it was 30 minutes away. They were going to make it happen. They are going to make it happen. You need to have the same type of mindset when it comes to your life. If it's inconvenient, so what? Don't cry about it. It can always be worse. That's why you will never see me get up on here and complain about anything that goes on in my life, because I can walk outside right now and see people doing 10 times worse than me. So who am I to complain when I know that I'm very blessed? But not feeling like it, not having the motivation or the energy is not an excuse to not get that work done. Nobody is going to pity you. Nobody is going to feel sorry for you 10 years from now when things don't work out. So you got to start holding yourself accountable and stop making those excuses. But if you made it to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you so much. It's your boy Blue J Tay. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.